Hello all my Kenvians and welcome to a brand new review here on PapaKenn Media. And today we're going to be talking about a movie we just saw about an hour ago. And it is a movie about the making of one of the worst movies ever made.
The Room.
But the movie is called The Disaster Artist. And oh my god. For those of you that aren't familiar with the movie The Room, I think the best way to get caught up on it, other than watching the movie yourself, is to go see the review from the Nostalgia Critic.
Yeah.
It's probably one, I would say easily the best way to actually get caught up on it and then go see this movie.
In fact, Watch Mojo, they actually have a top 10 most awkward, funny moments of the movie too, so check that out as well. I mean, it kind of gives you a good insight.
And keep in mind, those are the most awkward moments of a movie that is basically a long, awkward moment. Speaking about The Room specifically.
Yeah.
So I think the best way to do this is we'll sort of like give our recommendation as to whether or not we'll give our recommendation as to whether or not people should see this, and then we'll go into details, because to really talk about this movie, there's going to be spoilers.
Yeah. But, yeah.
So, I mean, and again, we'll go into more detail at the end, but I definitely recommend checking this out. If you haven't seen The Room yet, a lot of it might not make sense to you. Some of the more important moments that they go over won't make sense to you. So at the very least, see the movie, read up on it, or again, watch the review of The Room from the Nostalgia Critic. So that's my recommendation.
Yeah. It would also, I mean, even if you go into it like half blind, you'd still be entertained. But it's good to, yeah.
Now that's just the way you get the full effect of seeing this movie, which again is...
Yeah, I never watched The Room all the way through. I watched the reviews and things like that, but I get it. You know?
Oh yeah.
It's so bad, it's good.
And even that can be up for debate. But yeah, so basically we both recommend you go see it. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, or rather if you haven't seen The Room yet or this movie, I would recommend stopping here. Otherwise, let's go into more of our thoughts on The Disaster Artist.
Okay, you go first. On a scale of 1 to 10,
What would I rate this movie?
yeah.
Now, The Room, I would rank a 1 out of 10 unless you're willing to go down to a 0. It's a horrible movie.
I think you're being generous, Will.
Some would probably...
Just on charm alone, it's probably a 1.
But because of the fact that it has a cult following now, there's probably people that will actually be mad at me for scoring it that low. But it's a horrible movie. But then this, The Disaster Artist, between the acting in it, the way it's written, which again, actually we didn't mention this, but The Disaster Artist is based on a book, which was written by, I can't remember his last name, but the guy Greg, basically Tommy Wiseau's best friend, wrote this book about the experience of meeting Tommy and just the entire creation process. So this is all based on reality, or at the very least, slightly skewed reality.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was based on a book.
And all of that put together, it's a well-done movie. It made me emotional. It made me cringe so much throughout. Like, there are painfully cringeworthy moments throughout this movie. But then, most of all, James Franco as Tommy Wiseau. Now, whatever you think of James Franco, he's an okay actor. I mean, he's been in some great movies. He's been in some questionable movies. The man you see on screen is not James Franco.
No.
He is Tommy Wiseau. And because of that alone, I can't give this a full 10 because there were some things that bothered me enough but I give this a solid 9. Like, this is a really good movie.
Okay, what didn't you like about it? What bothered you?
Probably the moment that stood out the most was right at the end. It was during the first screening of the movie, and it's when, I mean, the audience goes through the emotions of this is a horrible, horrible movie. And then they start kind of picking up on how it's so bad it's good.
Yeah.
And then they start cracking up. And the laughter was just massively unrealistic to me. Because it's like in any movie, even The Room, where it's so bad that it's funny, it's like you're going to laugh, but it's not just constant laughing. So that really bothered me. It felt completely unrealistic. I do get why they did it.
Yeah, they're just capturing the cult following status of the movie. I mean, I'm sure the very first screening, people were like, "What the hell am I watching?"
Exactly.
Oh.
But and even beyond that, it's like I feel like it was sort of an artistic choice to do that, because in reality, it would have been more like, okay, we're laughing at stupid moments, we're laughing at stupid moments. But to them, to Greg and Tommy, it probably did feel like they were just constantly laughing.
Yeah, and I think that was important too, because, I mean, yeah, especially when Greg and Tommy were outside in the lobby, and he kind of talked. What's the second thing that bothered you? Because I was going to start going into something else.
Well, the second thing that bothered me, it was at the beginning. So the things that bothered me most were at the beginning and the end. At the beginning, Greg is giving this really bad performance to like an acting teacher. And then Tommy's in the class and he goes down to give a performance. And he starts, the only way to describe it is he starts yelling and writhing and climbing on the wall. Like, that's literally what he does. But that's not what bothered me. What bothered me was they were playing this inspirational, heroic music while that's going on. So I'm just sitting there watching, it's just like, I don't think the music guy read the script. What's happening here right now?
Maybe they were trying to capture in Tommy's mind, like, what he's doing. It's just like, oh, I'm being magnificent, I'm teaching people now, and it's just like this is my moment, maybe one of the first kind of things, just kind of tell what his character is all about.
Right. But in that,
but I understand why
yeah, and even in that moment, I felt like it was more like it was inspirational to Greg, because that's what inspires him to go out and talk to Tommy later, and as a result, Tommy helps him to come out of his shell. But in my opinion, they should have done that scene without the music. It would have been more impactful without that weird inspirational song in the background.
More awkward, too.
Exactly.
Which would capture the character just as well.
Right. And believe me, they do that plenty of the time throughout this movie.
Okay, is there any scenes that you would take out? Like, when you watch a movie, it's like, okay, what could we have done, without it wasn't needed. I know what you're
Tell them what I'm thinking.
I don't know if you can. Do you cuss on your channel much?
Go for it. It's all good.
It's where James Franco's wearing a cock sock. It's bad. Yeah.
So again, if you've seen The Room, you know what we're talking about. But in the movie, there is this infamous sex scene at the very beginning, where you see Tommy Wiseau's bare ass. Yeah. And in this movie, Franco's like he's walking around the set like bare ass and just with a cock sock.
God, he went for it. He was fearless.
Oh my God. I would have taken that scene out, but at the same time I wouldn't, because of just how amazing it is.
It was funny. It made us laugh.
Exactly.
So, okay, so would you take it out or leave it in then?
If I had to remove a scene from the movie, it would be that. But in the end, would I take any scenes out? No.
Then that means it was a good movie.
Exactly. Again, it's like, I mean, I gave the issues I did have with it, which the reason why those knock it down from a 10 to a 9 for me is they did take me out of the movie. It's like while I'm watching, I had to step back and kind of analyze what was going on, and then it worked for me. But I don't know, I just feel like while you're watching
Really?
this, yeah,
Huh.
I feel like, while I was watching this movie, it was something that needed to be, I wish it had just been a little bit more realistic in that sense. Because at the end,
I thought it was easy to watch.
oh, overall it was. It was just those particular moments.
Okay.
Because, and again, it's like where I said, like if they had taken the music out of that beginning scene, I feel like it would have worked better. At the end, had they done it with...
Would it be funnier?
Which one, the beginning scene?
Yeah.
I feel like it would have been. Because it's like there wouldn't have been like this... Like the inspirational music just kind of confused me more than I found it funny. What he was doing on screen, the way he was acting was what was hilarious. And then in the final scene where, again, like the laughter took me out of it, I feel like had they done it more realistically, not that constant laughter, but it's like had the people laughing at these particular scenes that are infamous for people finding hilarious and cringeworthy.
Mm-hmm.
Had they just done that, and even with Franco crying, like that would have been realistic. That would have been like, they're laughing at these moments that meant so much to him. That would have, again, just seemed more impactful for me as a viewer.
Well, I mean, the whole audience enjoyed themselves. They were entertained, and it wasn't like a scattered laughter or like an awkward, no, In the end, like the character Tommy got what he wanted. He was a star. He did it, and he made people happy. That made me happy.
Oh yeah.
It was easy to watch because you get invested in Tommy's character no matter how awkward or weird or strange that man is. It's a really good buddy movie.
It really is.
I think so. And it's one of the movies you need to go watch with your best friend.
I would recommend it too, absolutely, yeah. I mean, I feel like actually in this movie, and again, it's based on real life, but the falling out they have, like, that was more impactful for me than, like, best friends falling out in pretty much any other, like, buddy movie that I can think of.
And I think it really happened that way, too.
Mm-hmm. I don't doubt that at all.
I mean, Tommy being a control freak, not really having a power trip, like, but he was just so passionate about everything.
Mm-hmm.
And you get why, because, it was all him, no one else. Yeah, poor guy.
Yeah, and
you
at
gotta
the same,
love him.
yeah, and at
He's
the
very
same time,
lovable.
right? He's lovable in a little bit of a weird. I mean, in a little bit of a weird way because
You want to love him, but keep your distance.
Exactly. He's the uncle that everybody loves, but everybody wants to keep a little bit of a distance from. Oh my God, that might be me. I might be Tommy Wiseau. No!
Okay, I give it a 9 out of 10 too. Solid 9.
Now, is there any reason why, like, you would rank it lower than a 10? Because, again, it's like we both love this movie. Like, do you have any particular reasons?
Well, I mean, of course it has flaws, but it wasn't as funny as I thought it was going to be. Which I don't think it was meant to be funny. I mean, it's just a buddy movie. That's what I really think it is. Not a documentary, not a movie behind the movie. I think it's a buddy movie. And again, it has its flaws, but I thought it would be funnier. But I still laughed. Like, I'm watching it and, I'm enjoying it, but I'm just waiting for that one scene to just have that gut laugh, And it never came, but it was still kind of funny, but not funny.
Right.
Like Dumb and Dumber, that is a funny buddy movie.
Oh my God, yes.
It's a perfect funny buddy movie. Disaster Artist, kind of funny buddy movie.
Right. I do feel like though the main reason for that is that it's based on real life. I would say it's what's the word that they use for it? A dramedy, where it's basically it's like it's part comedy. The comedy is definitely an aspect there, but a big portion of it is the real life drama. This movie and Tommy Wiseau and the people around, the way he impacted the people around him, it was dramatically hilarious.
Yeah. James did a perfect job.
Oh my God, yes.
Now, James was flawless.
If, honest to God, if James Franco doesn't at the very least get a nomination for Best Actor for this role, he's been ripped off, because this is his best role I've ever seen him in.
Who directed this? Seth Rogen?
I'll have to check. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, he was the...
But it's like those group of friends, that always do,
But yeah, I don't think he was the director of this movie. I mean, he acted as a director in the movie. But yeah, it's like in post-production I'll include a caption of like who the actual director is.
It's right here. Sorry.
It was about right here. About right here. Right here.
Yep.
Oh. But yeah, one last thing I want to mention about this movie. If you are one of those that as you see the movie starting to end, you get up and leave, wait just a few seconds before the credits even start.
Yeah.
You get side-by-side clips of the original The Room with recreations they did in this movie.
And it was really hard to tell them apart. Like, okay, which one's Frank? Which one's...
Oh my God, yes. And there were definitely certain parts where like the timing of certain lines was different, but otherwise they matched up almost exactly. Like it's scary how accurate it was. Oh, and of course they end it with, I think it was what they used for the very first trailer for this movie, which was the infamous filming of the "I did not hit her. It's bullshit.
I did not hit her.
Throw the bottle.
I did not.
I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
Well, this is another thing I like about the movie. You watch it with your best friend, and then you have to watch yourself not quote the movie or talk like Tommy.
Oh my God, yes.
It's so hard to turn off. Went to the grocery store after the filming and like just shopping as if we were a couple Tommies.
Get the cheese. Cheap. I got the eggs.
Chip.
Oh, actually,
guy ringing us up was like,
yeah, he was
something wrong with us.
He was a little bit confused. Oh, but yeah, and honestly, this movie makes me want to watch The Room again.
Well,
it does, honestly. Like, I wish we had watched it again before watching this film, but I feel like, I mean, it's not going to make the movie any better. Don't get me wrong. But I feel like watching The Room again after this movie will give me a different appreciation for it, maybe? Or just a different perspective on some of the scenes.
Yeah. It'll make you love Tommy Wiseau a little bit more.
Love him or hate him.
Even if you don't watch The Room before or after, watch this. Watch it with your best friend.
I agree. Yeah. And if any of you have, whether it's you watched it with your best friend or otherwise,
don't watch it alone. That's a bummer. Don't ever go to movies alone, especially as go with your best friend.
That is the ideal way to watch it. I have, however, watched a lot of movies.
You'll enjoy it. You'll laugh. You'll cry. You'll cringe. You'll go to the grocery store talking like Tommy.
Mostly cringe.
Perfect evening.
But yeah, again, we both give this movie a 9 out of 10. Highly recommend you check it out.
Yep.
And any last words, Jared?
Thank you for having me again.
Yeah, no problem. Hopefully there's going to be more of these coming in the future. I've been wanting to see so many movies lately, and we're definitely going to make that a reality in the weeks to come.
Yeah, we're both behind on that. So.
Oh, definitely. Still got to get this guy to watch Star Wars. He hasn't seen any of them.
Sorry.
Judge him. No, don't judge him. All right, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us for this review of The Disaster Artist. If you've seen the movie, let us know what you think down below. If you're interested at all in watching it,
Below.
Oh, yes, comment down below, yes. I got confused. ADHD is hard. But anyway, as I was saying, it's like, anything you want to say it in the comments down below, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And until next time, everyone, I am PapaKenn, he is Jared, and we will see you in the next video.
Bye. You're tearing yourself apart.
I'm dead. I did not tear myself apart. I did not.
Sit like this, real quick. Now laugh like him.
Oh God. I am on an exercise ball. That was not a good idea.
That's why I asked you to do it.
How could you?
Well,
you're tearing me apart, Jared.
Almost dead. Almost tore that desk apart.
Oh.